We're here at the March for Life, and unfortunately, the March for Life goes against my religion, so we're going to have to cancel it here. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cancel the march today because it's against my religion, okay? Is that okay?
No.
No? You don't want me telling you what to do with your body?
No.
Okay. That's interesting.
The Good Liars are back, showing the vast amount of hypocrisy flowing through conservative circles regarding abortion access. The Supreme Court ruling that handed the GOP a victory against a person's reproductive autonomy has been a black eye for the party electorally, but Alabama don't care.
The University of Alabama at Birmingham Health System is now the first organization in Alabama to confirm that it's pausing in vitro fertilization treatments. This comes after Alabama's Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos under state law are children. The justices declaring last week that the Wrongful Death of a Minor Act applies to all unborn children regardless of their location.
I want to show you a piece of their statement right here. It reads, "We must evaluate the potential that our patients and our physicians could be prosecuted criminally or face punitive damages for allowing the standard of care for IVF treatments."
Forgetting the fact that 42% of adults say they've used fertility treatments or know someone that has, which is up from 33% from 5 years ago. The desire of the Republican Party to revert back to the past and force the vast majority of Americans to go with them is out of control. Donald Trump already clearly stated that he wants providers and people that seek abortion to be punished by law, which gives a political opening for his last primary opponent left to pounce on the issue of illegal IVF in Alabama.
The Supreme Court there said that embryos created through IVF are considered children and are offered those same protections. Do you agree?
I mean, embryos to me are babies. So
Even those created through IVF.
I had artificial insemination. That's how I had my son. So when you look at, one thing is to have to save sperm or to save eggs, but when you talk about an embryo, you are talking about, to me, that's a life. And so I do see where that's coming from when they talk about that.
So while Nikki Haley fails and gives measured answers about reproductive rights, hoping to appeal to a minority of MAGA voters that don't know anything about the issue, the guy that advocated for punishing people for it is forging forward with his reckless plans.
Project 2025 is also pushing Trump to enforce a 19th century era law known as Comstock Act, which could not only cut access to the pills used in the majority of abortions, but access to the medical equipment used for the procedure. And of course, strict enforcement of the law could lead to criminal prosecutions of both providers and patients. And yes, they're also going after medically necessary abortions, calling on Trump to rescind Biden administration guidance that requires hospitals to offer abortions to patients experiencing medical emergencies regardless of state bans on the procedure. For many, that can be a matter of life and death.
The cruelty is the selling point for Republicans. And Nikki Haley and the rest of the field were victims of the party's highly ignorant stances on the number of reasons people actually seek abortion care. They do know that it's wrong, but when party and politics is more important than doing the job voters sent them to Washington to do, which is represent them, not dehumanize them and imprison them, voters' lives mean nothing. It's illustrated all the time by Republicans that are no longer in office that realize and also voice what it is that's happening.
Most Americans do not want women or doctors imprisoned when it comes to the issue of abortion. And when you have state legislators like one in my home state who are advocating for the death penalty for a rape victim who decides not to carry the child, then that is a political loser. So Republicans used to say this is a state issue. Now it got to the states and you got crazy legislators proposing things like the death penalty. Most Americans, you can criticize Roe versus Wade all you want, but most Americans had come to some peace that this is what the law is.